Africa is transforming. Economies are growing and brimming with opportunity for investment at scale and speed. Investing in Africa is not a challenge. It is a mega opportunity. But what's holding Africa back? The 2024 African Economic Outlook Report assesses the drivers of Africa's economies. Africa is being tested. But even in the face of multiple shocks, African economies are displaying remarkable resilience, poised for a rebound in the coming years. African economies are growing, and the pace will accelerate in the near term. Africa's expected average growth is projected to steadily increase from 3.1% in 2023 to 3.7% this year and climb to 4.3% in 2025. In 2024, 10 African countries will be among the world's top 20 fastest growing economies. And by 2025, Africa's average real GDP growth is anticipated to surpass pre-COVID-19 pandemic levels and outpace the global average. Africa is optimistic, but cautious. The world is gripped with uncertainty. Geopolitical tensions present a complex mix of challenges. Yet Africa exhibits resilience and potential for robust growth. But that needs scale and speed. Structurally, however, Africa's transformation has been slow and uneven. Many people are employed in low productivity agricultural and retail sectors. Fewer people are employed in higher productivity sectors like manufacturing and financial services. This imbalance has left many African workers trapped in poverty. A blend of short, medium, and long-term policies is essential to tackle macroeconomic challenges and propel economies toward sustained growth. African countries must diversify their economies beyond traditional sectors. They need to improve education and skills training to meet the demands of a technology-driven job market. They must improve tax administration to scale up domestic resource mobilization. In addition, African countries must attract private sector investment, leverage innovative financing mechanisms, and promote regional integration to build domestic value chains and boost productivity. Africa requires substantial investments in infrastructure, human capital, climate action, and technology.
The report estimates that Africa needs $402 billion annually to close the financing gaps in key growth sectors: education, energy, productivity-enhancing technology, and infrastructure, to fast-track Africa's structural transformation and catch up by 2030 with other high-performing developing countries.
The scale of resources needed to achieve these vital objectives are enormous. Domestic resource mobilization alone will not suffice. The continent needs external sources of financing. The current global financial architecture has not done enough to mobilize resources at the scale needed for Africa's development, let alone transformation. There have been many commitments from the international community, but external financial flows, including investments, aid, and remittances to Africa, have declined. Climate finance to Africa remains limited, with the continent receiving only 4.5% of global climate finance. The current global financial architecture, with its high cost of borrowing, continues to impose a huge debt burden on African countries. Borrowing rates for Africa sometimes run even beyond 8%, considerably above what advanced and emerging economies pay. Reforms proposed by the African Development Bank and the High-Level Working Group on the reform of the global financial architecture, convened by the Economic Commission for Africa, aimed to increase funding for Africa's structural transformation. Rechanneling special drawing rights to multilateral development banks, making a healthy replenishment of the concessional lending windows of the African Development Bank and the World Bank, implementing the G20's capital adequacy framework, improving debt resolution processes, and enhancing tax transparency are vital for mobilizing external financing for Africa's economic transformation.
Accelerating structural transformation efforts and financing its implementation will be key to unlocking Africa's development potential. And while consistent implementation of structural reform policies are critical to boost the level and sustainability of economic growth, their implementation depends on availability, timeliness, and scale of long-term development financing for structural transformation and enhancing spending efficiency.
The 2024 African Economic Outlook Report recommends embracing an African-led development strategy tailored to local circumstances, fostering a conducive environment for private capital flows, and building and deepening national and regional markets as key policy actions. By taking these proactive steps and working together, Africa can overcome challenges and capitalize on its immense investment opportunities to speed up its transformation.